So can you all now only see my PowerPoint and nothing else? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so here. So okay, synthesis and transformation. We haven't done synthesis and transformation yet, right, for this class? No. Okay. So for this lesson, this tutorial, you notice that there was actually 15 questions, right? 15 questions. But for your exam, do you all know how many questions you all have for
5.
PSLE? Yes. So for PSLE, you have 5 questions, and each of them are how many marks? Do you all know how many marks? Wait, I'm trying to put your... Okay, it's 2 marks. So it's very important. This is where students usually lose all their marks, okay, in the 10 marks. So 5 questions, 2 marks. You get penalized for different things I'll explain later. And so this one we're going to do, the first thing. Second thing I'm going to do is composition for today. So that's the agenda for today. So let's look at synthesis and transformation first. Emma Watsons, which country are you in? Your background looks very vintage.
London.
Telephone booth. London. Oh, nice. Emma is also from London, if I'm not wrong. But yes, okay. Synthesis and transformation is what 10 marks already mentioned. Now, students always do not get the 2 complete marks because they lose marks. You lose marks when you're missing words. So when you join the sentences, if you are missing any words, you lose marks. If you forget a punctuation, like a comma, you lose marks. If you misspell words, you lose marks. If you didn't change the tense or wrong tense, you lose marks. So those are things you lose marks for. So it's very important to take note of. Now, what does synthesis mean? Synthesis means combine. The reason why it's called synthesis and transformation, because synthesis means you combine. What do you combine? You combine 2 sentences into 1. Transformation means change. So if you watch Transformers, you know the robots change, right? All of them change. So it means change. But the most important thing to take note about synthesis, combination, and transformation is that when you change, you cannot change the meaning. The meaning must be the same. Let's keep the original meaning, right? If it changes the meaning, you lose marks. So you have to combine them. You change the sentence, but you cannot change the meaning. So we're going to look at that. Now, before we look at them, you're very lucky because this one, when you all did the questions, you notice it's MCQ, right? It's A, B, C, D, you all can choose the answer. But for actual PSLE, there's no MCQ. You're supposed to write the entire answer by yourself. So you know that, right? So for now, I'm going to explain tenses, very important. I think I've done it before, but I'm going to do it again because this is important to take note for synthesis and transformation because of this tense, perfect tense. Everyone knows that the past tense, you know what past tense is, like run becomes ran. But they don't know there's a tense before perfect, there's a tense after past, before past tense. So for example, if 2 things happen at the same time, Dhyati had completed her homework before she went out to play. Both of these things happen in the past, right? She went out to play, went past tense. She had completed, also past tense. But one thing happens before the other. What happens before the other? She completing her homework. So that's why I use the word had. Right? Had. Okay, if it's also has, okay, it's had, has, and have. These 3 words will always follow the past participle form of the past tense, okay, which past participle. So that's what past participle is. So for example, let's do sing. What is the present tense of sing? Anyone? Yes, Dhyati?
Sang.
Present tense. Sang is past tense.
Present tense is singing.
That is continuous tense. ING.
Sing.
Yes, ING. Any ING words continuous. Sing is present tense. Sings is also present tense, right? If it's S, it's singular. If it's no S, it's plural. Past tense of sing. What is the past tense of sing, Emma Watson? Sang, not sung. Sang. Okay, good try. Now, the past participle of sing is sung. And sung cannot be, sung must follow had, has, or have. It's either had sung, has sung, or have sung, depending on the subject. You cannot have sung without have, has, or had. That is called past participle. It is one step beyond the past tense. So everyone knows past tense, but they do not know past participle, which is very important to take note for synthesis and transformation. We'll look at examples later. So past participle is sung. However, sometimes the past participle is the same as the past tense. For example, walk. The past tense of walk is what?
Walked.
Very good. Walked. Right? Do you notice when you say the word walked, you hear the t sound, not the d sound. So walked. Yes. But the past participle for walked is also walked. But you must have, has, or had. You're talking about the past participle. That's the only thing. Sometimes they change, sometimes they don't. What about fly? What is
Flew.
the past tense? Yes, very good. Gives us 1 point. Flew. What is the past participle of for flew? Have
Flew.
flew?
Has flew.
Has flew? No. Flown. Flown. So if you notice the end, right? Usually sometimes. Flown, okay, has flown. So this is the past participle of, so if it goes beyond, so if it's it flew, but you want to talk about two actions, one happening before that, you will use the past participle, that is flown, okay? Future tense always use will or shall, okay? So it will be will or shall something. Okay, so that's one thing to take note of. Past participle, remember the word changes sometimes. If not, it doesn't change sometimes. Okay, number 1. Who wants to go first? Okay, no one wants to go first. I choose Miss Emma Watsons. I choose you. Okay, let me change my pen. I want to use gold now. Okay, is it gold? Okay, yes. Now, can you tell me, first question, this one is both. Both is singular or plural?
Both is plural.
Very good, plural. Both is plural, right? Which means the verb must be singular or plural. Verbs are action words. These are verbs, right? These are verbs. This is the verb in the sentence. This one, must it be singular or plural?
Singular.
Singular? The both is plural. How can a plural subject have a
Oh,
singular? Plural. Yes. Now, likes, is it singular or plural?
Like.
This word likes. Is it singular or plural? Let me tell you a clue, okay? If it has S, that means it's singular. Singular has S, right? Singular, this is singular. It's singular. You also know it's singular because Tanya is one person, right? Here, Tanya is one person, singular. Sally is one person, so it's singular. But when you use both, it becomes plural, which means the verb must be plural, which means it cannot be like. So B is out, right? And C is also out because it's past tense. Why are you changing the tense? You can't change the tense, okay? So it's either A or D because it's like, right? So it's either A or D. It has to be like. So you must take note. Whenever you use both, right, the sentence, the verb must change. You cannot use like, so it must be like. Now, what's the answer?
D.
Very good. Can you tell me why is it not A? What's the difference between A and D?
Because A part got S and then
Yes.
got.
And they are both talking about just one part, right? So you cannot change, okay? You have to keep it has to be part. So the answer is D. Very good. Give yourself a point. Next one, Jyati, what's the answer and what's the clue?
Is it B?
Yes, the answer is B. Very good. Now, why is it B?
Because you're talking about the person who lives next door to you is the teacher.
Okay, yes, you're right. Now, I'll give you a point also. By the way, this is a clue. Whenever you see the word who, right? Who is always followed by a verb. Cannot be anything else. So here, in front of who must be the noun, the subject. Who you're talking about? Okay, the subject. Okay, the subject. I'm gonna write the subject. Nothing else. Nothing else should be in front of the word who. Only the subject. The subject you're talking about here is Mr. Wong. You cannot use he because you always start with telling me who they're talking about. You cannot use pronoun, okay? So every one of the answers start with Mr. Wong. Fantastic. That's the first thing you must take note of. So all of them can be the answer. So in front of who, remember, whenever there's two sentences, you're joining using the conjunction who. In front of who cannot be anything else, just the person's name. That's it, the subject. After the word who must be the verb, the action word. So who, so here you know A is out already. Where's the word who? There is redundant information here, right? Only must have Mr. Wong. So A is out, right? B and C, D is also out because you have so many words, additional information in front of word who. D is also out. So it's either B or C. Now let's look at C. Who lives next to me is teacher. Okay, you're missing next door, you're missing teacher. So obviously C is out, you're left with B. And also you notice lives is a verb, right? So who lives, so you must use the word verb. Who lives next door to me is my teacher. Now there's another answer. which is actually a better answer. And that's the answer I'm going to write now. Mr. Wong, who is my teacher, lives next door. This answer is also correct. And it's in fact better. Why? Because after who, you tell me who. Who are you talking about? Who is he? Teacher, right? He's a teacher. And is also a verb, remember? It's a to be verb. Verbs are not just action verbs, okay? They are also to be verbs. Is, was, were. These are all verbs as well, okay? So is also a verb. So it still follows the rule, subject and verb. My teacher lives next door. So this is a better answer because you tell me who you're talking about, okay? The teacher, and then this lives next door is an additional information. Additional information always goes at the end of a sentence, okay? So that's for number 2, remember, subject, then verb. Okay, very good. Emma Watson's number 3. Now, this is where past participle becomes very important. Have, has, had. Right? Remember I said that have, has, had is followed by past participle, right? So which means having must be followed by the past participle of the verb. Now, before we look at which sentence must follow having, there are 2 sentences, 2 events happening. Children allowed to go out and play and they did their homework. Having is always followed by the first event. So which one happens first? Children going out to play or did their homework, Emma? Which one happens first?
Did their homework.
Very good. So this one is the first event, which means having must be followed by this sentence. And then you follow second sentence because having always follows the first event. Okay, remember that having follows the first event, not the second event. So having what must be followed this, then the second sentence. Now, next thing, Emma, in this sentence, they did their homework. What is the verb here? Which one is the verb?
Play.
No, this sentence.
Oh,
Sentence
wait.
1.
Okay. Did.
Very good. Did. The present tense of did is do, right? The past tense of did, the past tense of do is did. What is the past participle of did? Done. That is why when you write the answer here, you must change did to done because of the word have. That's why I explained to you what past participle is. So whenever you have, has or had, the verb in the sentence, the sentence, you must change it to the past participle form of it. The past participle form of did becomes done. Therefore, A is out. You are adding a new word, completed. They didn't mention completed here, okay? A is also out because you see because it's present tense, must be past tense, okay? But most importantly, having follows the past tense of the verb, which is did. There's no completed here. So it must be changed to done. So it can be either B, C, or D now. So what is the answer?
D.
Very good. It's D. Okay. So having done their homework, children were allowed to go out and play. What is wrong with C? You changed, right? Went out. Where got say went out is go out. Okay. Here again, were allowed to go, were allowed. But anyway, spelling mistake, right? They missed the word ed. Were allowed to go out and play. So this kind of mistakes, you lose marks. Okay. So the answer is D. Very good. Give yourself a point. Next one, number 4. What is the answer? Okay, despite. Now, despite means you are going to talk about something that's contrasting something. Despite something happened, this happened. Okay. So despite is always usually followed with a noun, followed by a noun, or a verb plus ing. Meaning singing, dancing, jumping, that kind of things. So depending on the sentence, okay, if it's either a noun or a verb. Now, despite that there is 2. Okay, despite also means although. Can you see the word although here? Despite means although, okay? So you know that what must come behind the word despite must be this phrase, this sentence, because although and despite means the same thing. And then although this one, right? So you know this part of sentence must come first, 1. Then his ability to do well is 2. Okay, because they mean the same thing. However, for actual PSLE exam, they won't be so kind to give you the word although. They will do this. They will say John is able to do well, full stop. Capital letter he is frequently absent from school, full stop. They will give you 2 sentences separated and they will give you despite. They will ask you to join them using this.